Afternoon, everyone. Almost evening. It is Sunday on April 17th, and I have been wanting to talk to Adam Jenkins, not only a Moodle expert, but also a system administrator, about something that's kind of been on my mind about the YouTube account for OTJ. Adam knows the ins and outs of systems and system administration, and thus security. And something that was coming up on our OTJ YouTube channel, I'm going to show everyone this, is this, and I'm sorry that my thing is in dark mode. Yours should be in dark mode too. But this header that is up here is saying that we are at a greater risk of attack because we don't have two-step verification. Now, you will see this if you go into your YouTube studio section under your YouTube channel, not your channel. You actually have to go to the YouTube studio where this is controlled. Adam, what is two-step verification? Why is it important? Why should people be concerned about it?
Okay, so let's start with what it is. Two-step verification is known by a few other names as well: two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication, multi-step verification, etc. But usually refers to having two different ways out of three categories to refer to who you are, to authenticate as, yes, I am who I say I am, and I am what we need. Those three categories tend to be something you are, something you know, and something you have. So something you are is your biometrics, your fingerprint, your retinal scan, or something like that. Your brain scan, if they could do those, then that would be something you are. You're authenticating by, this is my body. Something face scan. There's
there's Face ID on my phone.
Same, Face ID is something you are. Something you have would be, for example, you have your mobile phone. So you can use your mobile phone to say, okay, I have this fingerprint and I have this phone. Therefore, I am me. Believe me. And so that would be something that you have. And something you know, that's a password. So two-step verification or two-factor authentication means that in addition to that password, something you know, we're also going to require something you have or something you are as an additional factor of authentication. And this makes it infinitely more difficult for the crooks to break into your account. And passwords are very, very easy to get, and passwords are often incredibly easy to get reset, especially with, how do you get your password reset? Oh, there's a security question, and it is, what's your birthday? Or what's your mother's maiden name? Or what was your first phone or first car or first whatever?
Pet.
And if you've ever been asked this on Facebook and seen little cutesy little things there, that's what they're trying to get. So it's pretty easy to get that information, get the password reset, and then intercept the email where the new password is sent out or something, or get the ability, in worst case scenario, to just reset it after correctly answering one of those security questions.
A lot of people are probably thinking, oh, no one's going to go to that much trouble to try and get me, right? That stuff happens rarely. It's like in the movies, right?
No, it happens all the time. So unfortunately, yeah, the reason there's so much of that sort of data mining happening out there is because this is common. So.
Okay, so let's get back to YouTube. And, the first time we went through this, I was actually surprised how easy it was, how it went through very quickly, just a bunch of buttons to push. We're going to be actually taking probably twice as much time to do it because we have to keep explaining why there are certain things we can't show. But really, if you do this yourself, it'll take you all of about 3 or 4 minutes, take you less than 5 minutes. Once the process is enacted, it's really just a matter of scanning a QR code, getting a number generated by the internals of your phone. It will not be sent over the internet, and taking that internally generated number and putting it in into an internet field that will confirm it. It's just an amazing system, and it's so much more secure. It really is worth your time to turn this on. So
it sounds incredibly easy. Well, actually, no, it sounds fairly complicated. But let's actually do it, and you'll see that it's not that difficult.
Okay, I'm going to push the Get Started button up here, if you guys can see that.
It's a great way to get started.
Okay, now one thing, this was the setup for my our OTJ YouTube channel. Now, where it sent me directly was to my normal Jose Domingo Cruz account on Google. So please make sure that you are, if it still says here, get started, that means you should do it anyway. But the one that you targeted should be the one that you're actually going after. So if you have to switch your accounts, and by the way, it's really easy to add another account. If you're wondering, I still see some people on OTJ going, "Hey, how come it switched my account?" It's really easy to switch back to your other account. So let's go to that account. Now, this one too also has to get started. Very, very easy. It's just really just follow the bouncing ball and a lot of stuff. Oh, and a lot of the information that we can't show you, we'll be telling you we can't show you. But just as a quick warning, when you do this process, it's going to be very tempting to say, "Hey, Dave, John, you're good with security. Can you help me walk me through this on Zoom?" And they might be very generous and say, "Yeah, no problem. I'll do that for you." But it is highly unrecommended to do that. Use this video, follow the bouncing ball, watch the steps that we're doing, and do it alone. And do not show anybody any of this information. Hey, Adam, I mean, like, especially you were talking before about that USB stick that might be actually a source of failure in terms of keeping your stuff safe.
The
USB stick.
Well, yeah, if you, things that are kept private need to really, really, truly be kept private. In that if anybody could possibly know about it, you should consider them compromised. So if we're doing it today, we're going to be doing it over Zoom, but that would be, the video feed of this screen share is going through the Zoom servers. That's not private. Now, I'm not saying that Zoom would ever look at it and hack Jose, and then, they'd know all of Jose's deepest, darkest secrets. No. But the best kind of trust is the trust that you don't have to give.
That's right.
So if you don't have to trust Zoom, why trust them? You don't have to share your QR code for your Authenticator app with Zoom. So don't share it with Zoom. And then
definitely don't share it with Facebook. So if you're tempted to do this over Messenger video, okay, I don't trust Zoom, or I shouldn't trust Zoom. But I have far more suspicion of Facebook, because every time I have a conversation with someone and we talk about something like cycling the Shimanami Kaido, guess what suddenly shows up on my Facebook timeline? And we've all felt it. And it's because Facebook literally gives you this incredible software to do worldwide phone calls, because they literally want to listen in on your phone conversations. Now, they're probably not going to take specific information like that, but they're listening for keywords. In any case, just don't do it. Do it by yourself. It'll take you 3 minutes. Look, it just keeps saying, get started, get started, get started. Okay, let's keep going.
Let's get started.
Okay, so now about password managers. Want to talk about password managers?
Briefly, yeah. Basically, use one. Use a password manager. Store passwords so that your passwords themselves, also being one factor of the authentication, they should be long, they should be complex, they should be random. You're not going to remember passwords that are long, complex, and random, but a password manager will have no problem doing so. And as a second reason to use a password manager is, I can see that there's a key icon thing, and Jose's password is without a doubt being, he's probably got some options now appearing that I can't see on the Zoom.
Yeah, it says other passwords and suggest new passwords.
Right. So you can actually choose the password that will pop up only if this is really Google's website. So even if a crook, a bad guy, has made a perfect lookalike, a perfect forgery of the Google site to try and get your password, the password manager won't be fooled. So password managers protect you in so many different ways, especially if you're using passwords. Password manager, long, random password, plus the second factor of authentication. Oh,
so secure, right?
You'll be
okay. So
secure.
What you're going to see here is it's going to tell you the account name, which should match the account name that's being displayed up there. And that means that this is the password for that account name. And then just click that. It'll put in the password. Okay. If you really were going, am I sure? Well, then you could show the password to yourself. But remember, do not do this with anybody watching, not even over your shoulder. Okay. So your password's in. Next. Okay, now that little pink blotch there, okay, that is telling you what kind of device I'm going to be able to get prompts to. And I can't show you that because, again, this is going to be a video. Not that I can't show Adam. He already knows what kind of phone I have. Not that I can't trust most people on OTJtv, but this is going to be a video on the internet. And I don't need that kind of security sort of vulnerability with people knowing what kind of phone I have. We can go into that whole discussion later, but it's telling you these are where devices can get prompts. Now, there's a bunch of ways that Google does this stuff, right? And there are prompts, there are QR codes. Want to talk about that a bit?
So the idea is that Google wants to check and make sure that you have possession of your phone at the time. So what it'll do is when you're trying to sign into a new site, first, username, second, password. Okay, you've entered that, you click on it, and then your phone will get a prompt. And you pop it open. And this is not actually over the phone so much as it's over the internet. Google will actually just say, oh, you're signed in on this device. So it'll pop up a prompt and say, hey, someone's trying to sign in at such and such a location on such and such a device. Is that you? Yes or no? And you click yes, and then it'll let you in. That's what the prompt system does. It's incredibly simple to use, super easy. And that's why Google puts this in as its default. This is how it's used.
Right. Okay, so I see that that's my phone, and I will continue. Okay, now what I'm blocking out again is actually my phone number, because it's actually a telephone. It has a phone number, and it's asking me, this is the phone you want to use, right? Now it's blocking out because, of course, I more than anything else, I don't want to tell anybody over the internet my phone, but that should be left there, right? Right, Adam? That phone number should be left there. Or how should it be handled?
No, I personally don't like using phones at all for two-factor authentication. Phone numbers, that is, because it's my personal opinion that encourages the industry of SIM swapping, which is a really, really bad type of cybercrime. People basically going in, stealing people's phone numbers and getting them reassigned to a different phone so that they can actually receive the text message and authenticate. There are people out there who do this. This is usually much more targeted attacks where they're trying to take the wealth of someone who's got lots of wealth, but it's a cybercrime industry that does not need encouragement.
By the way, I just realized that the reflection of my screen is right here. So I also have to blotch that out. And I'm actually doing it right now to remind myself to blotch this part out, because, you know, you heard about that stalking problem with that girl who took a photograph, and then the stalker figured out where she lived because of reflection in her eyeball. So what should people do instead?
By the way, this is actually a backup option. And it's important to have a backup option, because if your phone, let's say, okay, so we've set up a second factor, need the password and need the phone. What happens if the phone breaks? What if you go skydiving and it slips out of your pocket while you're falling? You're not going to have that phone then, and you will be locked out. So to make sure that there is a backup option, you can have your phone be there. But I prefer not to use phones for anything. So I would definitely click on that. Use another backup option down the bottom.
Okay, and this is a backup option. So this is a secondary way. You'll get it. You're going to get the prompt, and you're also going to get the QR code available, right?
The QR code will come later.
Okay.
But this one is just, we'll have backup codes that are not actually technically a second factor, because it'll be something you know upon something you know. But this is just one way that you can actually get in if your phone is destroyed somehow in some terrible accident where, you know, a duck steals it and flies across the Pacific Ocean with it.
Hate when that happens.
Yeah, it's terrible, isn't it?
Okay, so when we do the, sorry, go.
So we get the backup codes, and these are actually codes that will be blocked out on that screen. But
screen too.
You can download these as text file. Best place to save these are in that password manager, or in some other, if you actually are someone who uses encrypted devices, you save them on encrypted devices. If you're going to put it on a USB stick, make sure that USB stick is encrypted, because this is not the kind of data you want lying around unencrypted. If you're going to print it out, store it in a safe under lock and key.
Literally.
Because this is quite literally the keys to the kingdom.
The nice thing about the Macintosh password manager too is that it actually can create secure notes, and you can put in a title that says in there Google backup. So that's enough of a prompt to tell you what that is supposed to be. I have one in there for other stuff too. And the nice thing about it is because if you get your password files up onto connected to iCloud, they're not going to be stored on iCloud. Your devices will be able to talk to each other over iCloud, so that then your phone will have all of your passwords and your secure notes. Your iPad will have all that information. Your other computer will have all that information. So if a doc does fly off with your phone, the passwords are still in your other devices.
Yeah.
Now, there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's sort of 10 codes.
Yep.
Okay. Download, copy paste them into a secure note, as Adam said. And guess what? Okay. When you prompt next, just click I have my codes. You don't have to go back to do it again because you've already done what we just said. Okay. And now you just tell yourself, I'm going to just turn it on. And you're going to get an email. Okay. You're going to hear a little ping in the back of my computer as the sound goes. And it'll tell you, thank you for turning on two-step verification. Pay attention to those emails. And if it says you have turned off two-factor verification when you really didn't hear that ping, okay, you should, what should they do, Adam, if they get a mysterious email that doesn't seem like it was something they did?
Jump straight back in, make sure that if you log in to manage your Google account, so behind the OTJ button there's manage your Google account, go there, go to security tab on the left-hand side and look for the devices that are logged in. So currently logged in devices will be down the bottom there. You manage devices and make sure that all of these devices are you.
Now, there are 6 devices here, and I blocked out 5 of them, okay? But there is activity from a device of unknown type.
Oh my God.
Now, you have the information of what it is, okay? Now, it could say, I don't know, Samsung, or it could say an iPhone 8 or something. But in this case, it's unknown type. Now, don't panic. It's just that it can't be identified. But you can find out more about it by clicking more details. Okay. It'll tell you when you signed in and when you last signed in, and it'll tell you that you can sign out immediately from here. So what should they do from here, Adam?
Well, if in doubt, sign out.
There you go. Now, what about this don't recognize this device? Have we pushed this yet? Should we push that?
Never try it. I don't know.
Let's find out. Let's secure your account. First sign in again on this device, sign out on this. So the first thing they're recommending, okay, is to sign out on the device. So let's do that. Okay, now you've signed it. Next, change your password. So actually, this is what you should be doing. Okay, so if you were thinking, hey, what's that email all about? Do what Adam just said, go through those steps. If you find a mysterious device, and this is because your panic button is going off because you got that weird email, follow these steps. It'll take you through the procedure probably of what you should do when you have an actual security problem. So it'll probably ask you to change your password. I know, total pain in the ass, but do it because your security has been compromised. You got an email basically telling you to do that. We're not going to do that because I know exactly what's happening here. So I'm just gonna kick the back button, I guess. Hey,
you can try, probably.
Yeah. And I'll just sign out, and I'll sign out and done. But some apps might still have access. Well, we'll see what happens after that. But now that device has been logged out, I only have 5 devices logged in. I recognize each and every one of them. They're all cool with me. So we can go back to my Google account and see that, my account is protected. I have everything else here that doesn't look like it's giving me a flashing warning. So I think from here, the OTJ account is pretty much secure.
There's another part, though, is another part of two-factor authentication that's incredibly useful is if you use the Google Authenticator app. So shall we go through that as well?
Tell me what to do.
Okay, if you go to the security tab on the left-hand side there are actually several other options available for two-factor authentication. You just have to have something that you can use. So if you scroll down to the two-factor authentication area, right, and just click on two-step authentication there. two-step verification, sorry.
On the arrow. Okay.
Yep,
And then let
it'll
the
ask you
password manager let you handle that again.
Right. Now, if you scroll further down, you can add more second steps to verify it's you. You can add an authenticator app, voice or text message, which is the one that I don't like. And you can also add security keys. Security key is an interesting one where you can actually convert, say, a USB stick to a security key, where if you don't have that USB stick plugged in, you can't sign in.
That's
or actually more appropriately, because it's an additional second step, you can plug that USB stick in, and that will be that second step of authentication.
Okay, so kind of a little bit more trouble one way, but a lot less trouble another way.
Yeah, because you just have to plug it in.
But if you lose that stick, then what happens?
Well, one of those other steps of authentication have to happen.
Because they're all active. They can all take over for each other. Okay.
And one of the really useful ones is the Authenticator app. And it's really useful because it can be used with multiple different services. You can use the Google Authenticator app with, say, Facebook, or your Facebook account to secure that with two-factor authentication, your GitHub account, your whatever account you might actually go for. You can pretty much use that Authenticator app anywhere. Zoom. And let's do that a little bit later, eh?
Let's do that a little bit later, shall we?
Yeah.
But for now, Authenticator app, we get that set up on this account.
You click on that.
And I think one of the other things that will be good about this is that the four of us that administer this account will be able to take advantage of two-factor authentication, even though we share the password, right?
Exactly. So as long as the Authenticator QR code is scanned by multiple devices, you can have as many devices as you want ready to use that Google Authenticator app.
Right.
So you don't have to limit it to any one device. Also, the phone does not have to be online to use the Authenticator app. So this is great for people who are traveling overseas. They go overseas and don't want to use that international roaming because you get broke that way. Yeah.
But plainly said,
not so much anymore, but it used
was then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can set up the Authenticator app as well, but you do actually have to download it and install it in your device.
Yes. And we'll show you that in just a second. Okay.
If you're going to do that, definitely do it via the Play Store for Android devices and via the iOS store. Do not get a jailbreaked version or something of this. This shouldn't really need to be said.
Seriously, anyway. Why are you jailbreaking an iPhone? I mean, that's one of the great things. That's why you spend money.
Because it's fun.
Okay, didn't you just say like 20 seconds ago, don't do that? Okay,
well, so don't install Authenticator apps that could in any way possibly not be the right one. And Google actually has, first, download Google Authenticator from the Google Play Store or the iOS App Store. It's got links to it. Use those links and make sure that you get the exact right one, because if you give this away to some other dodgy app, that would be really bad.
By the way, I don't know where this will go if you're doing this on your computer browser, but the point is, just go to the App Store, and we're going to show you in just a second, and get the Google Authenticator from there. If you're on your phone and you're doing this, bravo to you. I wouldn't want to try to do this on my phone. But then that link will take you to the App Store. However, don't forget, you are still in the middle of setting up the Authenticator. So I wouldn't click that link quite yet. I would go here, set up Authenticator. Okay, Adam?
Yep.
It's actually pretty easy. Now, sorry, I'm not going to show you that QR code, but I am going to show it to Adam because he needs access to it. So I should scan this right now.
Oh, you want me to scan this one too?
Well, I mean, you're going to need access to this, right?
Okay. So what this does, by the way, is, okay, I've just scanned it. What this does is that it creates loads a seed into the Authenticator app. And that seed is used combined with the current time to generate a 6-digit code. And it changes, that code changes every 30 seconds. So it essentially, if you know what the current 30-second code is, you know that that person has that phone, or has a phone that has been enabled with this Authenticator app, with this seed.
Should I hold on to this QR code so I can give it to the other two people that run the account?
Yes.
This QR code.
Or I believe you can click on can't scan it, and they'll get the option to enter a number or something like that into their phone.
I'll just copy it to now. And I'll send it
Well,
out.
let's click on can't scan it and
Actually, that's true. Yeah, what would that do? Can't scan it. Okay, here's some instructions.
So anyone
I can't show you that password.
Yeah, into the email address and this key. Spaces don't matter. Make sure time-based is selected and tap add to finish. So there are instructions on how you can set up your Authenticator app to do it.
There you go. Me personally, I'm just going to send that QR code so then they can scan it off their Google Authenticator. You don't scan that, by the way, off your normal camera QR code scanner. It won't go anywhere. You have to go get the Google Authenticator. Now, let me show you what that actually looks like. So to do that, I have to change the screen share and go to my iPhone. Okay, there it is. Do you see it down there on the bottom left of my phone's? By the way, you can now see what kind of phone I have. I don't really care. Not at this point anyway, but it says Google Authenticator.
So it's a Huawei, isn't it?
It's a what is it? Xiaomi. It's a Samsung. Yeah, because I'm an Android guy. But there it is. It's called Authenticator. When you go to the App Store, when I downloaded this, that icon, the top result for when you search for Google Authenticator was the correct one, but make sure confirm it that it came from the maker's name is Google LLC. That's the icon, and that should do it. Okay, you have to pay a little bit more attention when you're doing security. So just do that. Just do it exactly the way we're showing you right here. Okay, Adam, there was one more thing I wanted you to help me with, if that's okay with you. Can I take up another 5 minutes of your time?
Sure.
Okay, I feel bad because I was telling people when I wrote my book that yes, you should have good security wherever you can and do two-factor authentication, as Zoom calls it, for your Zoom account. Now, at the time that I wrote the book, I wasn't able to focus on a lot of things because my head was bleary from writing a book, but I recommended people just use SMS because it was just so convenient, which it is. However, speaking to you now, I realize that convenience in this case should not trump total security. And looking at how Google Authenticator is so easy to use and so much more convenient, especially for people that I know that travel a lot out of the country, Google Authenticator really is a good way to go. So can you help me show everyone how to set this up on their Zoom account?
Sure. Let's bring up the Zoom settings page.
Okay, so this is my Zoom account. And here in the profile tab, pardon me, here in the profile tab, scroll down to the section on sign in. Okay, this is all the information that you're going to need to actually figure out how to do your two-step verification. Now, they call it two-factor authentication, which is more the normal way to refer to this stuff. Now, you will see that I have my SMS set up, but I don't have my authentication app set up. So shall we set that up, Adam?
Yep. Just click on setup.
Okay, now I need the password for my account at this
is for the Zoom account.
For this Zoom account, okay? And this Zoom account is protected by my password manager, which I'm now accessing. Takes this little amount of time to go get a password. So really, it's not a pain to set up a password manager. It's intimidating at first, but really it's not a big deal. I pasted it in, okay? I click next. And now another QR code that I can't show you, but it shows me yet again another QR code. And actually, you know what? I'm not going to scan it because I actually have to do this again because guess what? Adam saw it. Adam is a good friend of mine. He's not going to compromise his account, but why should I don't want to say incriminate him, but why should I involve him in this?
Well, that's what I was saying before, is that the best trust that you can do is when you don't have to trust me at all. If I have zero knowledge of it, you know that it's not me who's hacking you. So that's the best kind of trust there is. It's not a matter of, oh, Jose doesn't trust me. Oh no, I'm not going to be sad in the slightest. I'm actually going to be thrilled that he's taking his security incredibly seriously. So,
and anyone who does get PO'd, like, wait a minute, are you just being ignorant or did you actually want to see that QR code? So now what I would do is actually just scan the QR code. I will get a number. Oh, no, okay. I go to Authenticator, and in Authenticator here, actually, let me show you that. I can show you that. Okay, so let's go back to the iPhone. And there it is. Now, in Authenticator, okay, I'm going to get, okay, I already have a bunch of codes here, which I can't show you.
But actually, these ones you can.
I can? Okay, good. Let's work.
By the time you've shown them, I mean, you might not want to show what they're for, but the numbers themselves will change every 30 seconds. In fact, they're about to change.
Yeah, there they changed again. Yep. Okay.
There it goes. Now you got 3 more codes.
And you can see the pie chart there telling you how long you've got to actually enter these in.
Yeah.
So don't take your time. You don't have that much time. But I'm going to show you the pie charts, and I'm going to show you the names of the accounts, but not the actual email addresses. Okay. But those are the numbers that will appear. Now, once you have an account that wants to use Authenticator, you click this plus button. Okay. Oops, I clicked it on the screen. You click the plus button on the phone, and then it's going to ask you, do you want to scan a QR code? Do you want to enter a setup key? Now, if it's a QR code, obviously, you go to scan a QR code. And then it's going to ask you, okay, so where's that QR code? And I'm not going to point it at the QR code, because then you're going to
go ahead. Why not?
No, but then it's more work for me to actually like block that out too. Oh, okay, well, I can block that out. Okay, here we go. Okay, there we go. And there, I have another number down at the bottom. That is the number which I will. Can you remember that for me? Oh, okay. Can you remember that for me?
That number?
The bottom one, please.
Too
late. But what we would do is, okay, just come over here to hit next, and it's going to ask me, what was that number? Okay, and that number, I'm not going to even go through with it. Oh, do you remember?
No, you can just let's just do it, and you can do it again later. It'll be good practice.
Okay, so I'm just going to bleep these out. So what was it?
Besides, you probably want to take some screenshots for your next book, right?
I didn't take a screenshot. You have to remember.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh no, that's right. It's right here on my phone.
Check your phone.
Okay. Oh, I got plenty of time. Okay, so there it is, and this one. Okay, so now I put them all in, and then I check that they're good. Yeah, they're good on the time. I verify, and then it's telling me that I am set up, that I have paired a device. Now I'm going to have to go do all of this again. I was saying, okay, so I would have to push this remove device. But I wanted to talk about this, Adam. I previously set this up for SMS, but you're saying that I should actually remove that option.
Again, this is kind of a matter of opinion. My opinion is that SMS should never be used for second factor. I'm kind of a hardliner on that one. Again, up to you. If SMS is the convenient thing that is absolutely what floats your boat, by all means. And if you are not as, I mean, I hate SIM swappers, and I hate that SIM swapping is a thing in this world. So every single step that we can take to actually get towards a SIM swap free world, the better. Okay. So for me, I won't ever use SMS for second factor.
Now, one of the reasons why I wrote in my book that SMS is probably the most convenient thing to do is because I was using it for all my stuff. And there are major internet services that don't use Authenticator apps, or insist on using SMS as a default and don't make it easy to create a backup option. And because it was something that was already set in my mind, it was part of my sort of my kinetic memory to actually go and just do SMS. I wanted to stay on SMS. But if you're going to start doing Authenticator for some of your apps, the more apps that you do on Authenticator, the more it will become part of your actual movement through your computer workday to just do all of your authentication through Authenticator. So I actually am going to remove this from my SMS, but it'll be okay if I remove it now and then still change the device or remove the device on my authentication app after we finish this call, right? So the order of doing it isn't important.
Probably, but I'd actually complete the authentication app one first before removing it. Yep, I mean, there's not really any rush to remove that option. But okay, unless you think somebody's actually SIM swapped you, if your phone suddenly stops working, then you might be in a rush to remove it.
Okay. So this is for everyone out there. We did this for educational purposes only. I'm going to have to do this all over again because I have to get off this call and set up Authenticator for, I have access to 3 Google accounts and my Zoom accounts. I have to do this for 4 accounts, probably take me all of about 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, it'll probably go faster and faster as you go through because you know what all the buttons are doing. You probably only got 1. Well, okay, your Zoom account too. So you got 2 accounts to do it. It's going to take you 10 minutes. Go ahead and do it.
Another point that I'd just like to raise is that the Authentication app does not use any transmission of data or something. It is just math based. So one of the good ideas to do is actually to not just use your phone, but also your tablet, your iPad, your, I don't know, multiple devices, so that any device that you're going to want to be able to access that Zoom account from, you can. Or just because, I'm not wanting to do much Zooming through the phone, but I have the phone with me all the time. So that's why it's convenient to have. At work, I use my tablet. So what if my phone's out of battery? It'd be good to have the tablet also able to get me into my Zoom account. So that would be good too. So having multiple devices able to actually use that authenticator is fine. And if you ever lose track of them, you can just delete that second factor and do it again.
That's right. That's
Reset it up. So you can revoke permissions to devices later as well, which is cool.
And I know that, you're probably starting, I'd be surprised actually if you watch this video all the way through, but don't let your head spin on this and then think, oh no, I don't want to do it. Just get it done, because we are in a world now where this stuff is actually very important. Back in the 90s, a password was fine. Then in the 2000s, it had to be a good password. So you had to be long and had special characters. Now we're in the era where you need 2-factor authentication. So sorry, but that's where we are right now. So just get it done.
Yeah, indeed. And as people, the crooks are going after the low-hanging fruit. They're going after the people with the simple, easy to guess passwords who don't enable 2-step verification or 2-factor authentication. They're the easy ones to log in as. And so they're the ones who are going to be targeted. So if you've got that second factor, I think most cyber crooks would, even if they got your password, they'd see, oh, we need the second factor.
Damn. Okay, let's go to the next guy.
And you'll get that Google alert that says, hey, somebody just tried to log in as you. Right. You might want to change your password. So if you actually do that, take that advice, change the password to something long, random, and stored in your password manager, then you're making it that much more difficult for the crooks that most of the crooks will give up at that point.
Because it's so hard to find somebody who's that vulnerable. By the way, a good password manager, and the one in the Mac, actually, when you're making a new account, we'll say, hey, we've got a password for you. We've filled it out into 2 places. One is the original one, the confirmation one. Want to use it? We'll automatically remember it for you and everything. When I started switching to doing that, life is so much easier. I didn't have to think of any of these passwords. And if anything, me personally, not knowing my passwords strengthens the security of my passwords, because I won't write it down on a Post-it note and put it somewhere, right? And also to remind yourself, the password to your password manager should be a good, strong password. It's the one password you have to remember. So it should be a good one, has special characters, long, memorable, etc. It too should be a good, strong password.
Exactly.
Okay, Adam, thank you very much for spending a bit of time with OTJtv Shorties, which is what I'm going to call these from now on. I'm going to try to invite people who can give me a good burst of information in a short amount of time. That took longer, maybe.
Was it all that short?
Well, it wasn't that short, but it could have been a lot worse. You could have had your account compromised. So I think it was worth the time. Thanks for coming to spend the early evening. I was going to say late afternoon, early evening with us. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Pleasure to be here.
Okay, see ya.